Hey guys, Jesse here from Team Stomping Grounds.
With Chance, and we're going to tell you about something super important in 7th edition for this one. We're going to be talking about 2 words. Objective secured. We have Matt Cerino playing Grey Knights with Space Marine allies, and we have TJ bringing a whole lot of Tau.
Yeah, so TJ's going with an MSU Tau build that a lot of guys on our team were toying around with beforehand. And now that it's all objective secured and transports are scoring, it just got better.
Even the transports, they can still an objective.
Matt's actually playing and showing that you can still play lists that were real popular in 6th edition, and they're still super effective. He's playing a Grey Knight Grav Star. It's going to work around 5 Grav Centurions with Tigerius, a level 3 Libby, and Coteaz all in a unit, trying to get invisibility and gate, and then a ton of psychic mastery levels to back it up.
Yeah. We're looking at Matt's list. Just to give you a little thought of how good Matt's list is at casting psychic abilities. He gets the regular D6 warp charges, and then 23 more dice.
So he's versus TJ's only D6. So he's really going to be kind of at whim of casting what he wants. But simultaneously, this is also going to showcase the fact that even if you were kind of at the mercy of somebody casting, you could still play your game, because TJ still plays a really tight, really decent game. Now, I mean, mind you, neither guy is going to have the perfect plays because it's their first time playing with the respective lists.
Oh, definitely.
And but the best thing about this is both guys walked away going, man, I really liked my list, and man, I really know what mistakes I made, and I won't make them again. And that's the sign of people who are enjoying playing the edition, but more importantly, they're checking it out. So we see Matt doing some sweet tech here.
Ooh, we got that strategic warlord table working out for Matt real hard. He gets to infiltrate 3 units and his warlord due to his warlord trait, which is absolutely massive.
So he gives every single unit or every single independent character infiltrate plus the descent. He infiltrates them into that middle piece there. TJ won a die roll to deploy first. He chooses to deploy first and then gives Matt first turn,
which is a bit rough because those Centurions, the one thing you want to be able to do with them, and the reason why you even get gate, is because you go, I have these Centurions, they're a little slow. They're not very slow when they're halfway across the table on the first turn.
Yeah, now the Centurions I think are still going to be a completely viable build for, quote-unquote Death Star 40k. The biggest reason being is you can still get them across the table fairly reliably, but they're actually really, really, really effective at killing 2 units per turn with shooting. Because you can split fire across and go from that. Now, TJ has something going for him really well. It's Jink. I mentioned this in the previous battle report.
Jink is sweet.
Jink is going to be one of the biggest rules of the edition, I think.
And even when we found out in the battle report that we were doing over the weekend, you can Jink while you're standing still and still get your bonus.
And it also doesn't affect your passengers. So, it's allowing TJ to be kind of aggressive with his Devilfish to Jink, get his guys, and then when his guys pop out, they're like, I'm still kind of okay, especially because he's double Ethereal for the Ethereal leadership buff. So he's making sure to kind of move up into 2 concise patterns. So TJ just kind of unloads with some random shooting, causes hull points here, unleashes a Skyray, only takes off an autocannon. But really, the game is definitely coming down to objective secured. Now, Matt himself, he has 12 objective secured units.
Which is huge. Which
are the 3-man acolyte squad, or 3-man henchman squads, which he has a psyker in each one to bump a mastery level, plus those psychic pilot Razorbacks, which also give you a mastery level. That's how he was getting so many.
Yeah.
And then he has his Dreadnoughts, which, again, more mastery level. But if you're going to see the rise of vehicles, especially light vehicles, Dreadnoughts should be pretty much an auto-include unit, because they were so good in 5th edition at killing light vehicles.
And it's something that we never even really saw in 6th. When you talk about army creation in 6th, if you talk about bringing Dreadnoughts, people thought that you were just some fluff bunny who liked little walkers that walked around and, did cool things, sometimes shot things. But we see especially with everything being scoring, you're going to take a Dreadnought and you can just walk it over an objective.
One of the Dreadnought's biggest weaknesses in 5th edition, the Cypherman Dread, was it could shoot at a vehicle all game long and never kill it because you might not roll that 6. Now, at least luckily now they have hull points, so that's not necessarily the case. So even if you're just pumping holes in it, you're eventually going to kill a vehicle. TJ is playing again. He's playing a Tau list. Tau main. He actually has a second combined arms attachment of Farsight because it's the only way you can get the Farsight allies.
Yep.
And he has 2 3-man crisis suit squads with double fusion target lock and 2 or 3 individual missile suits. So that's even more, objective secured. And those individual suits, me, TJ, Justin, Andrew, Ganya, we were all utilizing them to play, or not really Ganya, but regardless, to play Ovesta Star because of how easy they are to hide, and they're still really effective at that.
And we'd see those guys deep striking in, and they just already take out one of the Razorback.
Yeah. So what actually happens a lot here is TJ splits all of his guys off and shoots at 6 different targets. And unfortunately for TJ, with cover and everything, shooting at the 6 different targets stopped him from actually killing targets. He killed like one here. He caused a bunch of hull points. We all discussed at the end of the game. He probably should have just really like hammered home like target, and just killed 3 instead of killing one thing.
And it's something we could talk about in the new edition, to where if you can completely eliminate a unit, that's another unit that doesn't score, and especially if it has objective secured, you got an objective secured off the table as well. We saw in the battle report that actually me and Justin Cook talked about over the weekend, which was Rob Fortin versus Trevor Rowe. Even if you take a unit down to 1 model left, if that model's on the table, it can do damage. It can contest things. It can capture things. It can shoot at things. So even if you're talking about an empty transport, you still want to kill that transport, especially now that it can hold objectives versus heavy support, fast attack, that sort of thing. Because if you have a dedicated transport that brings troops, it gets objective secured as well.
So we're seeing one of the big things, and one of the reasons why people always say MSU is the counter to Death Stars. We have that big nasty Grav Star. That Grav Star will probably take on pretty much any unit at once and just eliminate it. But the difference is it's shooting into a Devilfish, and it's here's my 500 point Grav sense that are doing the damage plus my 500 points in characters, and it's killing a 100-point Devilfish or another 100-point Devilfish.
And
now,
then the guys get out.
Yeah, it's still nice that you're able to kill 2 with the Grav Star, so that's why it kind of gets a nice little
it balances out, and it's pretty much worth its points.
But even still, you're forcing, by playing an MSU style, which is going to be, I think, the king style of this edition. Yeah. By playing that style of list, it actually completely and utterly forces your hand, because what it does is it forces your 1,000-point unit into making 100-point swaps. And now you're not being points efficient. The Grav Stars and Ovesta Star player terrified me. Because, they can kind of gate around Ovesta and all that. Well, there's a 1,000-point unit versus a 1,000-point unit. That's a good thing. And
here we're looking at crisis suits taking out Razorbacks left and right. And that's something to where that points exchange for TJ is a little bit more palatable. So we can take it here. I mean, we see all these transports just getting turned over and getting hull pointed to death, maybe blowing up and taking out guys. But once those transports are gone, which most of them are pretty cheap, you now have the troops that are objective secured on top of that walking out. And they can still do some damage. Yeah, they can. And I mean, so it comes down to Matt moves his Dreadnought down with the intent of I'm going to charge crisis suits. Yeah. Because in close combat, those crisis suits can't hurt the Dreadnought, which is great. And then you have our weapons are useless. So first of all, in order for our weapons are useless to kick in, you have to actually lose combat. If TJ, who's rolling super hot saves this whole game, I got the chance to actually sit down and watch it, who rolled super hot saves all game, doesn't ever need to worry about, or doesn't ever get the chance to do that because he never fails a save. Yeah. But even if you do our weapons are useless, you still run the risk of getting sweeping advance, and we all know Tal's slow initiative. Exactly. So, it's a risky maneuver, but it's a good maneuver for Matt to kind of go, because those crisis suits, that red squad is not within the 3 inches of the objective. Matt also realizes, like, hey, there's a lot of push over here, and I have the objective advantage. And Matt had already said that was actually his biggest misplay of the game, was he had the objective advantage, and he didn't secure it. He kind of went, like, hyper aggressive, like you wanted 6, and, like, kind of underestimated everything.
and now he's playing catch up, and he does a really good job of doing so. He gates that star right in the middle. Those crisis suits are now locked up in combat. They're away from the objective. He also brought in his other outflanking scout squad came in on that side.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's forcing these poor exchanges. It's forcing a 1,000-point unit to take up 100 points.
And it's one of those things where old habits die hard. In 6, we always talked about, and we always told you guys during the battle reports, kill troops and win the game. Now it's kill the transport, then kill the troops, then you can.
Then if you don't have many scoring units left alive, then kill everything else in their army because that's still scoring. Kill troops, win game used to be absolutely like the go-to thing. Now it's kind of
take out your unit of cultists, and now you can't secure any objectives.
Exactly. Now it's kind of like
kill everything, win the game.
Kill what I can.
I like the slogan, kill everything, win the game. Kill everything, win the game is very straightforward. It's very easy to teach people.
All right, kill everything, win the game.
Kill everything,
you heard
and
it
win the
here
game.
first.
You guys got it. Secret tech for 7th
Now,
edition.
they are playing Big Guns Never Tire as well, so those Skyrays, those Dreadnoughts are all worth an additional victory point. Mm-hmm. So you'll see Matt actually kind of going after those. So everyone on his one flank here where his objectives are, where those red crisis suits are, he's got some fire warriors peppering in. And it's kind of like, well, he has Coteaz, he has Tigerius. He actually splits both of those off of the Grav unit because they're more than enough to go after the troops and those individual Devilfishes while he gates the Grav Star over to kind of try to clean up some more.
So here we see kind of strategically, TJ has a huge advantage going at the bottom of the turn now.
Yeah, so he's kind of playing, in a funny way, he's kind of playing like the Eldar players did before. He has his 2 objectives in the back. In the back. He is currently winning the objective advantage because he's contesting Matt's 2 objectives with objective secured troops.
He's popping guys out, even though they very well may die. He's getting them near the objectives just to deny it in case the game ends.
No, the problem is, it's not in case the game ends. He's kind of committing to the game ending on 5.
Which is something, it's risky, and it may be TJ's out because he understands, hey, I'm going to die.
He doesn't, the problem is, and the one thing that he saw with this list was, he was a little too involved in the MSU, and he was a little upset in his lack of actual, like, killing power.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we saw those suits come in and do a lot. Matt actually underestimated them, it seemed. As soon as their suit like did that, you saw the gate start immediately reacted and just was like, no, go away.
Which TJ did a great job of forcing Matt's hand, but it was one of those things to where, if you take a look at what TJ was doing, TJ doesn't have riptides, doesn't have broadsides, he doesn't really have anything that can blow up the super huge units, but he kind of just does a good job of cutting around, and then hopefully he'll get lucky.
Basically, he calls Stubborn on his one Ethereal that just got out of a blue Devilfish, to keep the unit that is locked in combat with the scouts there. If the game goes to 6 or 7, all that has to happen is the Grav unit walks 6 inches forward, kills the Ethereal unit, and then Split Fire kills his Warlord Ethereal, and then Tigerius and Coteaz kill a 5-man Fire Warrior squad, and 5 scouts and 3 Warrior Acolytes kill off 3 Fire Warriors. Matt wins a game. Even if it goes down to 2 objectives, Matt wins off heavy support.